Then let us first understand what programming is. Think of programming as a means or a medium to communicate with your computer based system in order to achieve certain tasks. Think of it this way: you are reporting to a certain supervisor has instructed you to do certain task. It can be as simple as like generation of a excel based report, right? Now once you understand what kind of instruction your supervisor is giving you, once you understand his or her language, right, the the time constraint and all the other aspect related to this particular task, it is then only you will be able to achieve a required goal and within a particular time frame, right? So it is quite similar to a supervisor giving you instruction and in the end expecting you to deliver the end excel report. Quite similar, a programming is a medium or a means that we become a supervisor, and we are utilizing certain programming languages through which we communicate directly to a computer based system. Series, I'll be using VS Code as my editor to demonstrate my code and to demonstrate various images or whatever. But you are free to use whatever editor that you prefer. It is just my preference to use VS Code for the time being. So now let us get into the specifics of this whole computer based system, the core fundamental that we should know of, and it is an important foundation for you to understand what and why Python, right? So as you can see over here, this represents the whole computer, and as you might be aware of, each computer comprises of this thing called as permanent storage. It comprises of hard disk drive or SSD drive. It comprises of a thing called as random access memory or just memory that is represented over this block. Each of your computer will have a thing called as CPU, that is central processing unit, which act as an heart of your overall computer, wherein all of your instructions gets executed. A computer will for sure have a thing called as motherboard, right? So a computer basically is an electronic device, and an electronic device basically gets operated through electronic voltages. When there are high signals, it is represented as 1, and when there are low signal, it is represented as 0, and this is basically called as binary language, and this is the language that eventually your computer understands. So through programming, our main goal is to basically write certain instruction sets that can eventually get converted to binary language. Whenever we write any program, now depending upon the kind of language that you are using, each of these languages will have this internal uh, program, you can say. It is kind of like a system program offered by the languages that you are utilizing, right? And this system program will be basically responsible in doing the conversion of your program to this binary language. So this system program is basically called as or known as compilers, interpreters. Python is a high level language, right? When we say Python is a high level language, we simply mean that it allows us to focus on solving problems rather than managing hardware details. There are different types of languages. There are high level languages, low level languages. In low level languages like C or assembly, you deal with memory addresses, registers, pointers, manual allocation, and system level behavior. In high level languages like Python, the complexity of the machine is abstracted away. You think in terms of variables, functions, lists, dictionaries, and objects. Detail that this high level language is trying to solve, as you might see over here, understanding and memorizing an instruction totally and solely based on binary language is not a cakewalk. A human will face difficulty writing any code thoroughly in a binary language, right? So high level languages gives you mnemonics, gives you certain human friendly instruction sets that you can easily use, and through which the internal system program will come into place, and those mnemonics will get eventually converted to the binary language. Just to understand what I just said, it is depicted as in this image. So as I said, whatever program that we write, that will reside inside this random access memory of the computer based system. Your instruction, whatever instruction set that you are giving to your program, that will get executed in the CPU, right? And in order for this CPU to register and interpret what kind of task that you want your computer to do. In this process, your main code gets converted to binary, and yeah, this is how the whole cycle is being done. It is kind of an important questions for the interview. Python is also called as general purpose language because Python is not limited to just one domain. You can use it for web development, automation, machine learning, data engineering, scripting, system utilities, financial models, APIs, even game development. A general purpose language is flexible enough to solve problems across many domains. The system program that comes into play for Python is the interpreter. The interpreter handles memory allocation, garbage collection, variable management, object lifecycle, error handling, so the developer can focus solely on the logic. So now that we have cleared up the programming fundamentals, this is the good time to write our very first Python code and understand how things are actually functioning, how things are getting executed under the hood. This is the crucial most information which I have found any experienced individual lack the sufficient knowledge, and this is the kind of the information that I'll be talking about that may put you above from all the rest of the competitor that you might be facing. So let's begin. I'll open my VS Code. I have already initialized one .py file. We'll move ahead and we'll write our very first code. Print shadabsk. Right now, in order to execute it, we need to just use Python 3, and we need to pass on the file name. Now, this is the instruction set that we just talked about in the programming fundamental. Now, in Python, this is the instruction you give. A user wants this particular string to get displayed. Executed our very first program. That let us now understand what has happened under the hood, and this can be understood from this diagram. At the very first, there is this high level language. For us it is the Python. Then there are other high level languages also, like Java, C++, JavaScript and all. These are high level languages because they hide machine complexity. After this, there is this layer called as interpreter compiler layer. For us it will be the interpreter layer, right? So Python is interpreted, it is called as just in time compilation, JIT. CPython gets into picture. CPython converts your code into smaller chunks. It internally uses various layers and techniques in system program. There are different kind of tools and techniques that gets utilized. Some of them are tokenizer, parser, abstract syntax tree, bytecode. If anything goes wrong, like wrong data type conversion, if my, like, let's say I would have done any spelling mistake while writing print statement, so Python would have raised an exception. After this, we have this thing called as bytecode. This is an intermediate low level instruction set portable across system. Finally, we have this Python virtual machine. The PVM executes bytecode, manages memory stack frames, function calls, and delegates to C function internally. Then we have machine code. Here, eventually, everything becomes zeros and ones. This is where the conversion of your mnemonics is happening because hardware understands only binary. After this, there is the CPU plus memory where the actual hardware executes your code. CPU registers, RAM, cache, arithmetic, logic unit, everything gets executed. Yeah, so this was the most crucial information, and every Python developer or any developer working on any languages should know the whole crux and foundation behind how things are working. So that's it for this video.